Guano de, 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 guano de.
Hey guys, my name's Sarah, and I'm host of the Our Bay, Our Future film series. Today, we're going to visit Chief Hugh Akagi of the Passamaquoddy First Nation. I'm going to be asking him about coastal stewardship and how we can protect our coasts. Hang on a minute. How about, before we visit Hugh, I'll give you a brief history lesson. In the Wabanaki region of North America, there are 5 First Nations: the Mi'kmaq, the Wolastoqiyik, also known as the Maliseet, the Penobscot, the Abenaki, and the Passamaquoddy. Together, they are the Wabanaki, which means people of the dawn. The traditional homeland of the Passamaquoddy is the St. Croix River watershed, located on the northwestern side of the Bay of Fundy. Before the 1800s, the Passamaquoddy had many settlements here. They had villages along the coast and also inland. Depending on the weather and how much food was available, they would move back and forth between their coastal and land settlements. For over 12,000 years, the Passamaquoddy have lived on the St. Croix River and in Passamaquoddy Bay. The Europeans first arrived and settled here about 400 years ago. 12,000 years, the Passamaquoddy have lived on this watershed, and they still live here. The border of their territory isn't just a line on a map. It follows the St. Croix River and all the small rivers that flow into it. It makes a lot of sense to follow the shape of the land and the curve of rivers when talking about different areas. However, things changed when the Europeans came. In the 1700s and 1800s, when Canada and the US became countries, the Passamaquoddy territory was divided in half, and the people were made to live on reservations. Originally, there were several reservations, in both Canada and the US. Today, however, there are only 2, Indian Township and Sabayak. They are both in the States. However, the Passamaquoddy still live in Canada. After the Europeans settled here, they cut down large portions of the forest to build houses and ships. They also dammed the rivers to power their sawmills. When the trees were cut, they were floated down the river to the mills. This made it difficult for the Passamaquoddy to travel by canoe. Life changed a lot for the Passamaquoddy after the Europeans arrived. Now we know a little more about the first peoples who lived on the St. Croix watershed and the coast. Let's go talk to Chief Hugh. He lives at Quanasquamcook, commonly known as St. Andrews, New Brunswick. When I arrived at Chief Hugh's, he was in the backyard.
Hi, Hugh. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the territory.
Thank you very much. We decided to sit down on a nearby log to talk.
You probably didn't notice, but you are now sitting in our classroom. And I hope the furniture is comfortable, because this is a wonderful place to learn. I just can't think of anything better.
Soon after we sat down, we were greeted by some visitors.
All these wonderful things, the sound of the birds, the flowers that are decorating the wonderful trees, those are all gifts, and they're wonderful things that are supplied by our mother, this planet. If we can come out here and understand what the birds understand, and what the deer understand, what the insects are doing, then perhaps we'll appreciate that it's all important. And people have to see the big picture. Whatever we do on the water, whatever we do in the woods, whatever we do with the air, it's all connected.
I thought about what Hugh said. Everything is connected, so to take care of our coasts, we also need to take care of our forests. It makes sense. Later, Hugh invited me to see something really cool.
This is my great-grandfather's 100-year-old canoe. Birch bark, typical Passamaquoddy construction.
He told me how the Passamaquoddy can make river canoes and even ocean-going canoes. and how they can use them to travel quite far.
And even across the bay, the big bay, the Bay of Fundy, we have stories about Passamaquoddy travelers who knew how to ride the currents, the big gyre at the mouth of the Bay of Fundy that would take them into Digby Gut, visiting relatives in a place called Bear River.
The gyre is a rotating ocean current, so using their canoes, the Passamaquoddy could ride it to Nova Scotia and then back again. Later, Hugh invited me to meet David, a traditional canoe builder.
So David lives just down here. You see the trailer ahead? That's his teepee.
David is Passamaquoddy, and he works a lot with birch bark. He is an artist, and he illustrates Passamaquoddy legends, as well as building canoes.
He's coming. Obviously, he wasn't.
Hello. I'm Faye.
Hi, dude.
How you doing, dude?
Talking to David was awesome. He showed us his birch bark canoe, which he built himself.
The canoe will carry 1,000 pounds, but it weighs, less than 100. This canoe here weighs 55 pounds. It's a lightweight boat. It's perfect. And if you damage it in any way, you have all the materials right there in the forest to fix it up.
To build a canoe, it takes over 500 hours of work, and you have to know where to find the right materials. David uses roots from spruce trees for rope, cedar planks for the frame, and birch bark for the outside cover.
I spend a lot of time searching for the bark because it has to be the highest quality material. It has to be thick enough, and it has to be long enough to be made into a canoe out of a single sheet of bark. So I spend a lot of time doing that. Digging the roots, I get them just the way it sounds. I get right on my knees and dig them out of the ground. But trying to find long, straight, strong roots. Spruce roots is what I'm after. So it's very important to understand how the forest systems in this area work. And once you have those three parts, you can start building.
Building canoes is important to David, and he enjoys his work.
I love it. So I'm working with my ancestors when I do it. I'm tuned in to the world we live in, to the world my ancestors knew. And I love this land, so I get to be on it when I'm looking for materials. I get to be in it. When I paddle these canoes, it's, there's a couple thousand years of tradition there. That's beautiful. It's amazing to think, because people think, a lot of people think Indians are part of history. They think birch bark canoes are like flimsy. It's hard for people to imagine that anyone's still making real birch bark canoes, traditionally built. But I do.
The Passamaquoddy, after living here for over 12,000 years, understand the importance of respecting the forests, the waters, the animals, and plants.
I only need one piece of bark to build this canoe. I don't have to take every tree out there. I don't have to cut the tree down. I only need the bark. And if I take the bark when the sap's rising, the tree continues living. I don't like to fell trees if I don't have to. I've seen trees that I peeled 10 years ago, and they're doing fine. They're alive and well.
The canoe is an awesome vehicle, for it allows us to travel on rivers and also on the ocean. If you think about it, a canoe is like paddling a tree on the water. It's important to realize that without full and healthy forests, we wouldn't have the birch bark canoe. So, as coastal stewards, we need to protect the coast, the forests, and the air. We can't separate pieces of the environment. It's like Hugh said, everything is connected. Think of the environment like a spider web. If one part of the web breaks, it affects the whole web. We stayed the whole day with David and said goodbye in the afternoon. It was an awesome day, and I hope to visit with David and Hugh again soon. Well, that's all for today, guys. I'll see you next time.
Guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de. 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 Guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de, guano de.